like say a woman is really well adjusted. Is it wrong for her to select on the basis of physical attractiveness? I would say no.
It's literally in our nature to want that. It's okay. I think the society makes us think certain things that we want is not okay because that's how they divide us and that's how they make us smaller and smaller by division. But when it comes to it, there's certain things that is the truth. But if we keep saying it's not the truth, we're lying to each other and it divides us. That's why we're becoming so weak and divided and everything's going to shit, is because we don't want to agree with those things.
I just think people should be realistic. It's like, hey, I'm average looking.
It's hard to be real these days. It's the hardest thing to be real these days because I think there is a reason why everyone's being so fake and they don't want to accept reality, is because it goes back to, I don't know, I have some thoughts on this that is too deep, but I think division is a way of like the people that are on top to like have us stay small and divide us and think that we want us to delusional. But I think there is things that are just the real answer to things.
Why does it bother you if somebody's...
Sorry, I think she's been...
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Thank you. No, I was going to say, I actually agree with you on several points with some minor tweaks. Like, I do think division comes from the top, but also when you say it's in our nature as women to want to go for good-looking guys, I would say it's feminine to go for beauty in the sense that men, for the most part, are ingrained from day one to prioritize beauty in women and to be slightly more superficial, so to say, and when it comes to physical attractiveness. But I do think, to your point about it being in our best survival interest to go for, like a stronger man, a more of a provider man, like I think that is true. And also the point about how the top 20% of men get the 80% of women, or whatever that statistic was. A lot of that, I think, has to do with women being more hypergamous by nature, because as women, as you said, like we typically want to be taken care of. We want to feel safe and provided for. So it makes sense for a woman to want to go for a man who is better than her. And especially now with women doing better in the workforce and being more financially stable and independent, it might be a little bit more difficult to find a man who is better than her. So that could also be why it seems like there is more stiff competition amongst women competing for the top percentage of men.
I think that's part of the division too. The fact that women are doing better than men, that's like also not naturally, it's not supposed to be that way. And when we say we're better than men, like you think us financially being better than men is better than men actually, because all our financial is because of men. So we're not really better than them. We just have a bunch of men taking care of us. And then we judge the men that have no woman taking care of them.
But nothing about finances is natural. That's not something you'd find in the wild. Bears don't have currency.
We could have like I think it was better before and it was more fair, like years ago.
So just generally speaking, like just on a psychology standpoint, like if 90% of your beliefs are subconscious, and our reticular activating system is meant to find evidence for the thing that confirms our own beliefs. So different people have different truths and different realities. I'm not here to change your opinion or anybody else's opinion on what works for them, because that's your personal empowerment and your personal choice. However, I am living, breathing evidence, as well as a lot of the women that I interact with, that there are other values that you can live by, and that there are other beliefs that you can live by, and have different experiences that don't subscribe to some of the things that we're talking about here. So what I always ask as a coach is really just like, do you like the results that you're getting from that mindset and that belief, and do you feel empowered by it?
I didn't have this mindset before, and that's why I don't have the results that I wanted. I used to be a feminist. I used to believe in the things that you guys believe, and that's why I'm where I am. And there's like, then I realized when I actually matured and I'm no longer a 21-year-old, there's like, this is so fucking cool that I'm just like naked and I'm making millions of dollars. Then you start actually connecting with your natural, and then you're like, oh, that's why there's the people that are more successful, the people that are better, the people that do better in society, they think that way. Whoever thinks this way is usually better. They're more in shape, they have more money, and there is a reason, because when you think more connected to your nature and your natural instincts, you usually do better, because that's how you win. And the people that don't think like that, they're usually, they don't have the life that they want.
I don't remember it, to be honest with you.
You were going to ask me why it matters.
Yeah, why you seem to be particularly bothered by average people overinflating their looks.
Oh, I mean, I don't, I wouldn't say bothered, I would say it's amusing to me. But
you said, I just want average people to say that they're average. Why?
Well, I think Brian, this is a different value system, first and foremost. So go for Brian.
You do.
Well, I'd say first off, truth is important. So, I mean, this sort of thinking is the same stuff that is, you know, not to basically get into slippery slope stuff, but this sort of mindset and thinking is what has basically brought us to, okay, yeah, we should be allowed to give children puberty blockers. We should allow biological males to compete in sports with women because it feels right.
No, but
Does
you
it
could make
feel-
the
I feel
argument
good.
that there's a medical, you could make the argument that like puberty blockers to children have medical ramifications, and women, or, you know, people who were born male who've transitioned competing in women's sports, like you can make an argument that that hurts the other women. An average person saying that they're more than average looking hurts no one. It does nothing to anybody.
Well, I'd like to provide a bit of pushback for you and to
Okay.
answer your original question for why it matters. So, if you thought that you were more attractive than you otherwise were, this is going to manifest itself in who you choose to date or who you choose to not date. So, for example, if you think you, and it could be the case that you, here's why I want to be a bit charitable. Somebody could do this as a sort of confidence play to, you know, big up them, but they might actually be somewhat realistic when it comes to the people that they're going to be pursuing romantically. But if somebody is genuinely delusional, and you would agree with me that some people are genuinely delusional,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're chasing after a certain caliber or league of person. She rejects that there's leagues. I find this a bit dubious, but then they're going to be constantly disappointed. And this is gendered though. It plays out very differently. If I'm constantly shooting my shot with women who are outside my league, I'm instantly rejected. For example, if I were to step to a woman, shoot my shot, I'm not getting a conversation, I'm not getting a date. Maybe I could get used for a foodie call, maybe. But in any case, I'm not getting anything further. I'm not getting any short-term sexual access. I'm not going to be typically strung along for the purposes of her using me for sex for a couple weeks, a couple months. Conversely, women who simply by being sexually available to men can have sexual relationships with men who are outside of their league, but those men will never give those women anything else. They won't give them commitment. So what ends up happening, as a woman, you can test this out. If you make yourself sexually available to men, you're going to encounter men who, that's how women get into situationships and fuck boys and dealing with that. And, oh, he won't commit to me. Who's more likely to be complaining about the opposite sex being unwilling to give them commitment, men or women? Do you think it's men out there who are like, wow, there's this chick that's a slut, but I really want her for like long-term commitment and she won't give me commitment, but I can sleep with her? Is it more often the case that women are dealing with men that won't give them commitment, or the reverse?
I got commitment from somebody who was way out of my
hold
league.
on.
Way
Yes,
out of my
I get-
league.
Hold on. Was he?
Yeah, he was substantially out of my league in every department. And
Okay,
You know?
congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
so it's not impossible to find somebody who's out of your league. And I'll say, as a man, if you want to date women out of your league, become more charismatic, become more interesting.
Charismatic. Hold
Yeah.
on.
But you said
Okay,
you only
hold
had
on.
one body count.
But why don't
I didn't
you
say I had
answer,
one body count. I said I had one boyfriend.
That's great. I can also point to women who I think are dating, like, for example, Jeff Bezos, who's dating Lauren Sanchez or whatever. I think he could probably attract women who are way more attractive in like a bunch of metrics. So I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just talking about a general statement here.